What's up, everybody? TJ here. Real quick before we get started with the episode, I'm testing out a new feature called fan mail, which is where you can actually text me from the episode that you're listening to. So as you're listening to this, go over to the episode description, and right there at the beginning, you're going to see some text that says, send me a text message. Go ahead, click that. Let me know what you think about the podcast so far. Let me know of any questions, concerns, anything you might have. I love to hear from you. So go ahead, hit that up. I'm excited to read your text, and let's get started with the episode. What's up, everybody? TJ here. Real quick before we get started with the episode, I'm testing out a new feature called fan mail, which is where you can actually text me from the episode that you're listening to. So as you're listening to this, go over to the episode description, and right there at the beginning, you're going to see some text that says, send me a text message. Go ahead, click that. Let me know what you think about the podcast so far. Let me know of any questions, concerns, anything you might have. I love to hear from you. So go ahead, hit that up. I'm excited to read your text, and let's get started with the episode.
I tested for 5 long, grueling, sad, angry, happy years, right? And it was every bit of learning every step of the day. And there was times where I was like, dude, I am fucking done with this. And then I'll talk to a guy or a girl who's like, I tested once, I interviewed once, and I got on. And they're like, probably hate me for saying, why would I hate you for saying that? You had it. You understood it. The fact that you can just walk into a career like the fire service and be like, first try, motherfuckers, that's impressive to me. Good for you. You did something right. But it's also impressive for the person who perseveres and tries and gets told no 8 different times from multiple different departments and is, nah, I'm going to fucking be a firefighter someday. Watch.
Welcome to the Keep the Promise podcast, where we help build resilient and well-rounded firefighters.
Sometimes more often than not. But we're good with our probationary firefighters. The ones that care. And there are a lot of them that care. And, you know, there's like, it's every department, right? There's always the guy that doesn't want to train, that doesn't want to work out, that train the new guy. But everywhere that I have been roving around on the shifts that I rove around on, they care. And it's great. It's like, hey, what are we doing today? Is most of the time like the first question that's asked on the truck. It's like, well, we're going to check off our truck. We're going to make sure everything's working. We're going to bathrooms. We're going to clean. We're going to do a once over on the station. And then let's go train. Let's go shop for food. And then let's work out after that. And then let's cook. Let's build camaraderie. Let's watch a movie if time allows, because we're running so many freaking calls. And so on and so forth. And a structured, well-planned day is, key, because you have your routine. And a lot of younger firefighters that I've seen come on the job as of recent, because of the shortage that we have in firefighters, didn't do ride-alongs. They were just like, I want to be a firefighter, so I'm going to go take the test, learn how to interview the way that they want me to, and get hired. And I've noticed, like, as a few other people have that I've talked to, that there is a decent amount of newer firefighters that don't understand the culture yet. So they're getting criticized for not being the stereotypical booter, probationary firefighter, when they didn't know in the first place that this is what you're supposed to be doing. There's that whole mantra, booters are seen, not heard sort of deal. And I hate that. Like, I get it. There's a time and a place for probationary firefighters to talk and, share their feelings about things or ask questions. But like, to just think that this person just is here to clean and train and cook for me and clean for me is just such an asinine thought process. Like, that's a human. That's somebody that, like you said, you want to pull you through a floorboard if for some reason something goes wrong and they're like, you know what? I really don't like this guy. And that's never going to happen. But like, if I had a backseat guy that treated me like crap Dude, it would make this job so much more less appealing. You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to come to work where people just pick on you all day?
Right. To deal with petulant man children.
Yeah. Like, that's not fun. This job is supposed to be fun. This is the best job in the world, like we like to say, right? Everyone says it. But it's like, if you dig a little bit deeper, you go, oh yeah, there's some issues there. There's some issues.
There's a couple issues.
Yeah.
Let's rewind a bit. And I love the fact that we're going completely off the rails from the questions that we talked about, because that means I get to have you along for a second chat, hopefully. But you were talking about the culture. Dude, no. I told you, it's a structure, and we ball. So you're talking about the fact that some of these newer booters are not showing up having done ride-alongs. We don't do ride-alongs. I was lucky enough that I volunteered when I turned 18, so I kind of had an idea. I was cocky enough and annoying enough. But I kind of had a clue about the culture, about the expectations, about it. And everyone listening will understand what it is. You can look at a firefighter and say, ooh, they've got it. Like they get the idea of the fire service. We're getting those folks who come straight from high school or college, haven't done any of the stuff before, and they get hired. And there's no blueprint on how to pass on that culture, that it, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times they are doing what they're supposed to. They're showing up at 6:59 for their 7 a.m. shift. And they are doing their chores, but, 2,100 hits and they're in bed. And by the letter of the law, they're not doing anything wrong. But culturally speaking, they're kind of not living up to the expectations. How do we instill it in those newer folks without taking the old school mindset of like, fuck you, shitbag, like you just don't get it, you don't belong here, get out of here? What is something that we can do in 2024, dealing with the folks we're dealing with, to instill those almost ephemeral values that most of us get, but that some people may not understand yet?
Baseline. Teach them. Show them. Social media is such a huge, like powerful platform. And like, to go back to the probationary firefighter that didn't do ride-alongs. One, I don't know how you get hired without doing ride-alongs, because that was my whole deal, trying to get hired. So like, that to me is like, that's foreign. I'm like, I don't get how you decided you wanted to do this job without at least like testing the waters before you did that. And maybe you've seen lots of pictures and videos, like thought this was the coolest thing in the world. That's fine. But if your probationary firefighter is not doing the things that you think they should be doing, tell them. The end. And if they don't listen, then it's their fault. But you don't know what you don't know, right? So if like everybody else goes to bed at 10 o'clock and the booter's like, all right, well, everybody's asleep. Like, big door's shut. Things are clean. I'm going to go to sleep too. I've never really understood the booter staying awake. The last person to be awake, because like, one, they're the hardest worker on the truck. They need the most sleep. They should be eating first. And I get like, that's a huge culture thing. Like, that's just like mind games. And yeah, I dealt with that too. It's just part of the learning process, and like the screwing with the new guy process to see if we can get him to break, sort of deal, to an extent, right? And nothing in my probationary year was ever malicious. It was all like, every once in a while, somebody would pull me aside and be like, hey man, like, you talk too much. I'd be like, oh, my bad, dude. Like, I'll quiet it down at the fire table or the dinner table. I'm just really excited. I got a lot of questions. They're like, it's all good. Time and a place. I had really, really good mentors. I had great backseat firefighters, and I want all of that for these people coming on. You know what I mean? So with that, there's this new, it's not even new. We have this great, awesome supercomputer in our pocket at all times, right? I can literally just ask, I'm going to say Alexa because my Siri will go off if I say Siri, but I can ask that thing anything that I want. Like, hey, how do I get hired with the fire department? Google search for me about how to get hired. And everybody's on social media. It doesn't matter if it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. If that information's on there, that's a new way of injecting info into our younger people to get that information quicker. Does that make sense? Like
it does. It does. Meet your people where they are and meet your future people where they are. When it comes to the marketing, I get so upset at my department because they're still doing the hiring fairs and like sending people to like schools and shit like that. And the social media presence is boomerish at best. Hey, here is a crappy graphic on checking your smoke detectors. I'm like, the amount of campaigns that could be run teaching the community about what we do, about life safety, about events coming up, like the ways that you can make it personable and reach those folks are infinite, yet we are choosing to have something that it looks like, I don't know, a baby on crack drew on Microsoft Paint and just posted. And it's like, change your smoke detectors, change the batteries. Like, that's it. Or like, my favorite is always at the end of whatever month, whatever's being celebrated that month. Like, oh, on this last day of Fire Safety Week, I'm like, guys, you had an entire year to prepare for this. I think we missed the mark on that because it worked in the past and it worked for getting people on board, and bring it back to teaching our newer folks. Hey, it worked for me. They taught me this way. Therefore, it's going to work for the future generations. I think we're missing the point. We are missing the fact that these generations are different. They grew up with these phones. They grew up with the world's wealth of knowledge at their fingertip. And I mean, we see it at the table all the time. People sit down to eat, all the phones come out. I remember when I first started the conversations and the being picked on, you just kind of waited. Like it kind of went around the table, or if it was your unlucky day, you were going to be the butt of all the jokes. Now it's just quiet. So quiet. And I've talked to a couple of the younger guys like, hey, just be involved. Well, I got nothing to offer to the conversation, so I'm just going to bury myself in my phone. It's like, okay, I get it. But I guess we're going to have to start doing, like, I don't know, dinners via Zoom where we all sit together and we all Zoom each other on their phones. I don't fucking know. We got to change something.
Yeah. I've noticed that. Unfortunately, it's a comfort thing, dude. It's like, you don't have to sit there in silence. You know what I mean? So like, I'm going to pull out my phone and like interact with this device that I'm looking at. So I don't feel the outside pressure of not talking because it's awkward and I don't know how to deal with that. And I guarantee that's what every other person at that table is thinking. And there's a lot of posts from like other fire department pages, firefighter pages, of like, put the phones away during dinner. And let me tell you, that's never going, that era is
gone.
And I don't disagree with you because I think like if your station was like, hey guys, here's the phone basket. Everybody put your phone in the basket during dinner. Like if somebody did that, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Like phone in the basket, like keys like in the bowl if you're going to a drinking party. You know,
I was going to say, what kind of party you talking about, bro? Because where I come from, putting the keys in, like, yeah, now we're talking some wild shit.
Yeah, like just you're not driving home. We're all sitting here.
Yes,
we're talking. We're having dinner together. We're building camaraderie. We're telling war stories. We're being people. So if like I've thought about that, but like one, none of these stations are my stations. Right. So like for me to like be like, hey guys, like let's do the phone bowl.
Like shut up, Rover. Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck off. Go back to A shift.
Whoa.
I'm sure it maybe some. Or shit, maybe somebody out of the blue states something that no one else has thought of before. And they're like, you know what? That's a good idea. Like, let's everybody put your phones away and we'll either sit here in silence awkwardly and painfully, or we will be forced to talk, and we will find firefighters will always find something to talk about at the dinner table. Like, if your dinner table is quiet, it's because you don't like each other, or you've literally told every war story you've ever told. It's just how the fire table works. It's just how it is. I mean, but social media, like, we're so stuck to these things, dude. Like, and it's good and bad, but it's just kind of how you see it.
I find myself having that similar mindset because you, with a couple of your projects, have found that social media is an incredible tool to leverage everything, to leverage your knowledge, to leverage skill, effort, everything that you can do by yourself. Once you add that to the mix and content creation, it magnifies it 1,000-fold. And I think we both see the dark side. That is, we are just glued to it.
Yes.
I stopped posting on Keep the Promise for a couple of weeks, and I had a couple of folks from literally like down the street be like, "Hey, bro, you alive? Like, you haven't posted on KDP." I'm like, "Why didn't you just text me?" Yes, I'm alive. I'm doing well. I just got off of Instagram for a while because I got tired of being in the rat race of daily posting and all that stuff. Going back to the kitchen table conversations, the one thing, the anecdotal evidence that I have that I've seen works pretty well is if you're lucky enough to have folks from the same academy class or similar, once you start telling your war stories from the academy, even the rookies are comfortable telling what they went through and kind of sharing, you know, the adventures and misadventures, right? Like mine, I remember they had these cameras on the big classroom where we all sat that were supposed to be for like teleconference classes and everything. But you could tell that the instructors would fire them up and they would do like a quick initializing sequence. They would spin so you knew they were watching you, and within 5 minutes the door would get kicked open. We'd be doing push-ups and whatnot. Fast forward a couple of years and the guys are, you know, they're telling us stories about how during lunch they would make paninis and that they would have like a guy pouring out espresso shots for everybody. I'm like, how times have changed.
That's wild.
But the conversation, right now that guy with less time is telling stories of what went down in their academy, and now we can start talking about the differences, some of the things that are still taking place, but the conversation is happening. The phones are getting put down. I mean, maybe the phones are getting picked up for them to show us pictures. Mind-blowing to me. I'm like, you guys had phones in the academy? Like, holy shit, they would murder us if we had a phone during our academy. But I think that's something that's shared, that's a common experience that everybody can speak to, and that they don't feel like they haven't earned their place because they completed it. They've been through it. They've earned their spot. You don't have to go to like, you know, 15 alarm fire and talk about your war stories. Hey, you made it through the academy. Tell us about it. And it helps all of us. Like, it helps the 26-year captain who has taught 15 academies understand some of the changes. It helps some of us who have less time in see the crew that we're dealing with. And it makes the rookie feel good that they are contributing something to the conversation.
Absolutely. Everybody has something to say.
Everybody.
You just got to get it out of themselves.
Hey guys, while we're on a quick break, I want to share something special with you. It's a podcast that resonates deeply with what we often discuss here about resilience and mental health. This podcast is called The Things We All Carry. Imagine that you're finishing up a tough call, the smoke is clearing, you're packing up your gear, but sometimes what you carry out of that call isn't just physical. It's the weight of the experience and the echoes of the things that you've seen and done. The Things We All Carry dives into these moments. Hosted by my good friend Stack, this podcast is about unpacking the emotional baggage that we all take home after the call ends. It's about transforming our shared traumas into shared healing. In every episode, you're going to hear real stories from fellow firefighters who have been where you are, who understand the burden and the honor of our profession. And they share not just their challenges, but also the steps that they've taken towards recovering from those challenges, proving that while our trauma may be unique, our paths to healing are all connected. So after we finish up here, take a moment and visit the things we all carry on your favorite podcast platforms. Hit subscribe and join that community that understands the weight of what we carry and the strength that we gain from sharing our stories. Remember, you're not alone out there. We're here to carry the load together. And everybody has something to contribute. Sometimes we think, like you said, that, hey, be seen and not heard. That was one of my biggest disappointments when I came out of the academy, because I went straight to the Special Operations Firehouse, thinking it was going to be modeled remotely like any sort of military special forces where everybody is an asset and everybody's skills are put to the test. I'm a computer nerd. I've been around this shit my entire life. I can, plug myself into the matrix and be good with it. So when it came to, for example, missing person searches and running all the topographic software and all that shit, I'm your man. Like, put me in front of that computer. I'm going to have all the different probability circles, all the area search, like everything's going to be done. And there was this one officer who, I will never forget this because it was creative, dickish, but creative, that I asked him if I should run the computer on one of the training exercises. And this motherfucker went out and he printed the list of everybody in the department by seniority, 12 or so pages. And he found my name on page 10. And he said, you can run the computer when you're on page 3.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Again, 10 out of 10 creativity, got the point across, but also 100 out of 10 on fucking asshole move. I'm like, okay, you fucking hillbillies with no computer experience, run it. I'm going to be trekking through the woods, tripping over shit, playing flashlight tag. Have fun. Enjoy it. But yeah, going back to what we said, that everybody has something to say. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody has something that they can bring to the team. And the sooner that we realize, the sooner that we remember that this is a team thing and we live and die as teams, the more we're going to be able to leverage the skills of our teammates in a good way, in a way that's going to help us, help the community, help the department, and make sure that we go home happy and healthy at the end of the shift.
Dude, when the day that you stop being able to contribute positive to the fire department is the day that you should retire.
It's a good thing I always bring my amazing sense of humor and sharp wit every single day.
Beautiful. That's great. Because without that, this job would be really fucking boring.
My captain is so fed up with me. We used to work together when we were firefighters, and now I get to drive him. And I think my station has a couple more senior folks. So the house captain is on my shift, and then the EMS officer, who's usually a captain with 20 plus years, and then the safety officer, same thing. So tenured guys, guys who have been around for a while. And one time everybody was eating lunch in the kitchen, and of course I come in as ceremoniously as I can. I slam the kitchen door open, and I forget what, I was just in my head, extra mayhem, without even thinking who the fuck was in there. I'm like, shut the fuck up, threes, a 10 is about to speak. And my captain, everybody on the shift just kind of looked at me seriously, and my captain literally dropped his fork and he goes, why do you insist on speaking? Yeah, success. I just brought a little more entropy to your guys' lives. Enjoy. But I think that's
awesome.
That's what makes the culture what it is, that we can fuck around like that. And the new guy, the old guy, they can bring that chaos and that excitement and always bring something to the table, which goes back to the inclusivity that we've always talked about when it comes to fire athlete.
Yes.
But we have a lot of technical things that we can get into, but I feel that instead of belaboring the point, we should do this at another time. But tell me, looking ahead, some of your goals for fire athlete and personally for your career.
Shoot. Personally, I'll just get that out of the way quickly. My rescue partner, I think, helped me. So I just took the engineer's test.
Hell yeah.
I'm on the list. I didn't score as high as I would have liked to, but I will probably be made here. Hopefully by the end of the year. I'm very excited for that, because I do enjoy driving and everything, pumping, operating a truck. I drove an ambulance for 4.5 years, and I was very safe about that. I even talked about it in my fire interview because like that was a big deal for me because that was a huge accountability issue, right? Like that massive piece of equipment, is something that I'm responsible for. So I was like, that's something that I want to do. I know that I'm good at, and I'm going to learn the pumping sequences. I'm going to learn the math, which I'm terrible at, to make sure that I can get water to these guys that need the wet stuff on the hot stuff. Right. So that was me. I wasn't going to take that for a while. But my rescue partner was like, dude, you'd be a good engineer. And I appreciate him wholeheartedly for that. Shout out to Freddie Batista. I love you very much. You're my homie for life. Then for fire athlete, dude, we're honestly, I talked to Adrian at the beginning of this year. I was like, we need to blow up this year. And now that I say that, it's not going to happen, right?
No,
But
you're manifesting. Come on, man. We just had an eclipse. Manifest. Tesla.
We're trying to inject ourselves into areas where we typically wouldn't find firefighter based workout programs. So we're trying to find companies that would like to partner with us that need coaches, programs, fitness routines, motivation, anything of that sort. So we're trying to basically double ourselves this year. In the easiest way to put that. We want to keep adding programs that pertain to different demographics of people. We want to help more people get hired. We want to keep building our mentorship that I'm really excited about. I do want to clarify something. We have been called an affinity group. My apologies. Multiple times. We are not an affinity group because we have to, if I'm correct here, we have to, stick with one department. So like if we were going to be an affinity group for Phoenix, we would be like the fire athlete affinity group. But because we're so widespread and we have the social media presence that we do, the idea for our mentorship was we want to take firefighters from all the cities in Arizona and bring them into one place at one time. And if Mesa Fire Department is hiring, we have a firefighter from Mesa here to help you with their interview process and their level of fitness that there's required for their academy. If Prescott's doing that, I know a guy in Prescott. I can point you in that direction for that. But like, hey, if you want to talk Phoenix, like I'm here for the interviews. I'm here for their level of fitness, so on and so forth. Right. I didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves. And I'm not saying that the other affinity groups are doing that because they help tons of people get hired on a yearly basis. But we didn't want to stick with one city. We wanted to be the fire athlete mentorship. So people come to us and they do workouts and it's very, very beginner based level. And that's something that I would really like to grow this year, which to get more people, two of the girls that are in our mentorship worked their asses off and got hired. I'm not going to say names or departments just because I don't know how that works yet. But they just got their calls, super excited for them. And we're helping. This is something I'm proud of. And I know a lot of people, and I have to explain this, a lot of people scoff at the idea that people aren't able to pass the CPAT. Are you familiar with the CPAT?
Oh, yeah. I had to take that one. Almost died the first time I did it. It was awesome.
Yeah. If you have no idea about firefighter fitness or like that style of fitness in general, like that's going to be hard for you. And when Adrian and I sat down with these programs that we wanted to build new programs, I was like, how many good candidates are we losing specifically because they don't know the workout style that it takes to pass a CPAT? Like I was there. I used to be that person and I learned quickly and I passed, but I had to take the CPAT like I think like 6 or 7 times before I got hired because it expires like every 6 months or something like that, which is
Genius financial move for them.
yeah, those guys. Just keep helping people learn and grow and build camaraderie and just build fire ethic. Keep like our newish has been proudly promoting fitness in the fire service. Whatever kind of fitness that is, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. I am proud of you. I'm stoked that you're a firefighter and you want to play tennis. We'll give you a shirt so you can show everybody that you're a fire athlete. Like whatever it is, we're proud of you and we'll come root you on because promoting that in this industry is huge.
Boom.
Yeah.
I love that. It's such a refreshing take on a topic that we just sometimes don't pay attention to, and sometimes that we do pay attention to the topic of firefighter fitness, like we talked about before, it can be very polarizing. Like, you're not carrying the boats, you're not carrying the logs, fuck you. No, because we need everybody. We need all these folks. I like what you mentioned about the people that we're losing through the CPAT, because that filter might be taking out a lot of amazing candidates. And what you guys are doing in the long term, I think, is going to bring some massive cultural change to the fire service, which I love seeing.
I do want to clarify, I do agree. The CPAT is the most base level of fitness that you can be for the fire service, which I think everybody can agree on. And if you're struggling with that, there's a reason, but we need to find that reason and we need to fix it so that you can pass that. And then we're going to get you to the level of fitness for firefighting that you need. Like, it's not, I don't know, man. There's just like, there's a lot of like, even athletes out there that are like, oh, I'm not used to this level of cardiovascular endurance. Like, this is foreign to me. Let's do this. Let's do these things. Let's work on these certain types of workouts, and that should help. And then they pass. And we've helped a few people pass their CPAT, and now they're doing our bigger workouts. And that is like, okay, this works. Like, these are good candidates. Can they get through a fire academy right now? Hell no. Like, I would not wish that upon anybody, but we're going to get them there. We're absolutely going to get them there if they want, because you have to also. So I know a lot. I've had this conversation with so many people that are like, they can't pass the CPAT. Hold on. There's a couple different things to this, like, that we need to talk about. I've had some conversations with some hard-headed people that are like, no, dude, if they can't pass the CPAT, they don't belong here. I'm like, well, if they don't pass the CPAT, they're not going to be here. So you don't have to worry about it.
Plus, what does that tell about their drive? Maybe they can't pass it now, but they're going to work through it and they're going to be able to pass it. That tells me that person, like you said, wants it. That person is willing to endure and to suffer through new things to accomplish the goal. That's a person I want. I don't want the first try Fridays. I want that guy or gal who has been ground down and just kept on going and going, because I know they're the ones that are going to pull me out of that basement.
Oh yeah. That's kind of that inclusivity thing that I want to loop back to, is because, like, even first try Fridays, man, like, they're good people too. Like, they had it. That was something that I wish I could have had. And it's like, it's funny when I will talk to a newer guy. I tested for 5 long, grueling, sad, angry, happy years, right? And it was every bit of learning every step of the day. And there was times where I was like, dude, I am fucking done with this. Like, and then I'll talk to a guy or a girl who's like, oh, I got on. I tested once, I interviewed once, and I got on. And they're like, probably hate me for saying, why would I hate you for saying that? You had it. You understood it. If I could have had that, I probably wouldn't be the same person I am today. But like the fact that you can just walk into a career like the fire service and be like, first try, motherfuckers. That's impressive to me. Like, good for you. You did something right. And like, I just think it's impressive. I don't know. But it's also impressive for the person who perseveres and tries and tries and tries and gets told no 8 different times from multiple different departments and is like, nah, I'm going to fucking be a firefighter someday. Watch. Like, I love those stories. I love the first try Friday stories. I love all of it.
You are A'd up with the fire department. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What is the one failure that you cherish the most?
That's a good question. If I had to say, it would be 5 years of being told no. You know what I mean? Like if I was going to go work for Google, like, and I applied once, you know, I'm so foreign to like the office setting and like the corporate world. But like, if I was going to go apply for a job and I was like, here's all my credentials. I have what you guys want. And they were like, yeah, sorry, we have other candidates. I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, time to go look for another job. But because we're able to go on ride-alongs and see the fire department out firsthand, like, I don't think I would ever be able to go to an office complex and be like, so what do you guys do? Like, how does day-to-day life work here? You know, like, they would be like, get out. How did you get past security? It's like, we get to have people come see what it's like firsthand. We have classes, we have workout programs. Like, the firefighter 1 and 2 is a great example for people who have no idea what the fire service is. Like, go learn and then do ride-alongs. Please do ride-alongs. Like, it's so imperative. I forgot where I was.
The failure, the 5 years.
Yes. Sorry, dude. I go off on terrible tangents.
That's what makes you an awesome podcast guest.
Yeah. There's just like, there's so many cool things about this job that, like, if you don't know what you don't, right? So like, we have to teach people.
Where can we find out more about Fire Athlete and Joff himself?
Don't follow my personal page.
Too late.
Yeah, I know. You get to see all the very widespread humor things.
Dude, I'm here for that shit posting. Makes my day.
I'm glad, because it's like I honestly think I'm partially the reason, or like 90% of the reason why my wife got off of Instagram.
She had enough of your
she's like,
shit.
dude, I can't with you. I'm like, really? Like me? She's like, yeah, your meetings are so annoying. I'm like, no, like, my friends think they're funny. You just don't have a good sense of humor. She's like, no, you're just weird. All right.
One of us.
We have an Instagram page that you can scroll on for probably an hour and see tons of content and reasons why you should follow us and hang out with us and come to our mentorship. We have a TikTok where we post our funnier videos. We have a website that describes basically everything that we're about. Yeah, it's me and Coach Adrian and a couple other of our mentors, specifically Matt and Grayson and Mike and Sierra, everybody that's trying to help us out build a better, stronger fire service.
I love it, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, Joff Fierro, buddy, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And
thank you. Thanks for having me on. This has been awesome.
What's up, everybody? I hope you enjoyed both of these episodes with Joff. If you don't get fired up after listening to him, then there's something legitimately wrong with you, because the dude brings such a refreshing outlook to the fire service and is so genuine about how he cares for the people both on the job and getting ready to get on the job. It's so awesome finding somebody like that in a day and age where we can eat our young pretty well and where we can be pretty elitist about who we let in and who we don't let in. So I really had a great time talking to him. I'm definitely going to have him on board for other stuff, and you can bet that we are going to collaborate again in the future because the homie is solid, and we also send a lot of shit posts and memes back and forth. So that's like the mark of amazing friendship in the 21st century. For those of you who may be new, who may not know, and just as a reminder to those loyal listeners, at the end of every episode, every actual guest, do a shout out for those new patrons who have joined our online community. And what is the online community? It is basically a space to become that resilient, well-rounded firefighter. And we do that through daily workouts, through mantras and meditations, through training, little motivational posts here and there. Just basically having our own little community out on the internet. That way we span across the globe. We don't have to be relegated to just one single firehouse. The world is our firehouse in that case with the Patreon community. Check it out at joinkeepthepromise.com so you can be like one of these folks who get a shout out at the end of the podcast. So without further ado, special shout out goes out to Nick from Greenwood, Indiana, Riley from Sunset, Louisiana, and RJ from Valley Springs, California. Thank you guys for joining this community. I hope and I know that you are getting a ton of value from it. And thank you to you, my dear listener, for taking the time to tune into the show and to hopefully get something new and something out of value that you can take back to your firehouse. Tune in a couple weeks for another awesome episode. Until then, be good, be safe. I'll catch you later.
Hey everyone, it's TJ here from Keep the Promise. As you know, this podcast is all about helping firefighters become more resilient and well-rounded so that they can be a force for good within their fire department and their community. But today, I want to talk to you about something that's just as important, and that is supporting firefighters who are going through tough times. When one of our fellow firefighters is off work because they have to go to the Center for Excellence, they have to go to rehab, they have mental health issues, or they have other health issues, it really takes away their support system and it wreaks havoc on their finances and their family's finances. And many times, these brothers and sisters are left to struggle alone, away from their support system and the people who love them without the resources they need to recover. That's why I'm setting a bold new goal. And that is to reach 150 total patrons on Patreon so that we can start a fund to help firefighters and their families during these challenging times. And I need your help to make it happen. With your support on Patreon, we'll be able to provide financial assistance to firefighter families who are battling things like addiction, depression, and cancer. We're going to help alleviate the financial strain that can come with being away from the fire department so that our brothers and sisters can focus on healing and recovering. Now, reaching 150 total patrons is a big goal, but I believe that we can do it together. And when we do, we'll be able to make a real difference in the lives of those who serve and protect alongside us. So, if you're not already a patron, I invite you to join us today. Head over to joinkeepthepromise.com and sign up today. Again, that is joinkeepthepromise.com. And if you already are a patron, thank you so much for your support. You'll be receiving some exclusive rewards and perks as a way of saying thanks. Together, let's show our fellow firefighters that we've got their back just like they always have ours. Thank you for listening. Let's get started with the episode.